I know this is not exactly ChatGPT for financial advisors, but it kind of is. And so let's back it up into it a little bit. So GPT-4 for Morgan Stanley financial advisors, it's a provocative headline. It's a provocative idea. Can you walk me through the use case and explain what problem does this actually solve for them?
Yeah, Hugh, and great to talk to you again. So, first of all, Morgan Stanley's been at sort of the innovation game for quite some time now, and one could argue that's been, the decision to be early adopters to these technologies has been a meaningful driver of any success that we've had over the last couple of years. We've been engaged with OpenAI for some time now, and what OpenAI and GPT-4 in particular bring to the table as we look forward to this new model is they bring really the most deep and differentiated large language models that exist in the world. And while there's many use cases that people are talking about in the broader ecosystem, here at Morgan Stanley, one of the real differentiated capabilities that we have is our intellectual capital. So we have a research department that really is probably one of the best in the industry. We have product experts. We have a knowledge base of over 100,000 documents. And the idea is to bring that knowledge base, that differentiated intellectual capital, and put it together on top of the models of GPT-4 and essentially create an ecosystem that's private to Morgan Stanley, that's controlled by Morgan Stanley, and then making that content available to our financial advisors. And the idea is that we take the most knowledgeable person at this firm and make that person available to every single one of our employees, our financial advisors, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, virtually instantaneously. And that's the goal. In essence, you're scaling the best human at Morgan Stanley for any particular job, it sounds like. That's right. And the traditional ways in which people access, through search are evolving. And what this technology allows us to do is to really expose that knowledge, whether it be historical knowledge or real-time knowledge, and make it available to our employees.
So Jeff, we've all been kind of wowed or dismayed in turns by ChatGPT, and my understanding that's based on a previous gen version, GPT-3 or 3.5. How much better? If you've seen this technology, how much better is GPT-4 than the previous one?
It's significantly better, just period. But I think what's the real distinguishing characteristic here is we're taking this model that is meaningfully better, both in the number of parameters, its compute power. It's just smarter. If GPT-3 is got an 8th grade knowledge, this has got a postdoc level of knowledge. And then what we're doing is we're taking that model and we're putting it on top of our content. So it's really a combination of the deep intellectual capital Morgan Stanley combined with really these candidly, these models have never existed in the way they've existed now, and we're combining those together to create something that I think really has never existed in this industry or in this world, candidly.
It's a good segue to my next question. I saw from the preliminary release, you guys are the first client for OpenAI, strategic partner in this kind of use. Are there, to take a step back, is OpenAI being used by other financial industry players, outside of wealth management?
So OpenAI has an open platform that is accessible to any organization in the world. They have a model that you can access through not only their infrastructure, but through the Azure platform. But what we have created is an exclusive relationship in which we have direct access to their top developers, their software engineers, and even the leadership of the firm. And this is new ground that we're breaking. And the idea that you're simply going to plug in to a machine and it's somehow going to produce the results that you want, I think is a bit of a fantasy. And what we've been doing is we've been partnering very closely to understand where their technology is going, how it works, and then to conform that to the use case here at Morgan Stanley. And to be able to pick up the phone anytime and call the leadership at OpenAI and discuss what they're doing and how we're doing it. We got access to GPT-4 very early in the process, has been a really has been a really great combination, and we're just excited about the partnership.
Can you talk about the origin of the partnership? In other words, was it an investment banking referral? Was it something through tech leadership, including yourself? I mean, what was the genesis of this idea?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we've always had a tech business development team that's exists at the corporate level that we've had a terrific partnership. They probably come through well over 1,000 companies every year. We have a tech week. I was actually literally just out in Silicon Valley last week talking to probably about 20 companies. We are constantly looking and evaluating for new innovative companies in the industry. About 9 months ago, we established our own innovation team within wealth management. And one of the companies that we met early on, we met with Sam Altman and his leadership team, and we were really, really impressed. Conversations went a little bit further, and here we are today.
And how long would you say this has been in development? And when can financial advisors actually have this in your hands?
So we've been at this for about a year, and we are actively testing right now. We actually have 300 of our client service associates, financial advisors are actually testing the platform as we speak. And when we are ready, we anticipate sort of late spring, early summer, that this will be deployed to the entire wealth management firm.
So, I'm curious about some of the feedback, but maybe we can hit that in a minute. I mean, one of my, most pressing questions is, let's talk about the guardrails in place. We've all seen the headlines of, some version of this technology essentially doing odd things like falling in love with the reporter who's doing a story, or just bizarre behavior. We know that JPMorgan Chase reportedly has banned their employees from using, just the public version of this within on-prem for them. And so, talk a little bit about how you prevent this from going off the rails in ways we've seen.
Yeah. So first of all, our goal is to provide accurate information to our financial advisors. There's zero incentive for us to have this thing hallucinating. So first of all, as I mentioned, it's all based on Morgan Stanley content, right? And all of that content goes through a rigorous process of validation, control. So for example, every single piece of research content, I don't know if people are aware, is actually reviewed by an independent person that's registered. They review that content for accuracy, for reasonableness. So there's independent reviews on all of this content. So what goes into the machine, first and foremost, needs to be as accurate as it possibly can be.
Got that.
And that's super important. The second thing is transparency in these models is critical. What people don't like is when they put something in and they get something out that they don't understand. So what we've done is when you use this tool as a consumer, you type in your question. Not only do you get the answer, and it will actually give you the answer, it actually will give you a reasoning. It'll explain in human language why you're getting this answer. And then it will take you to the actual document or documents and the actual location of those documents which that information is derived. So you as a consumer have complete transparency between what you got, why you got it, and where it came from. And then what we have is a feedback loop where all of our testers, and ultimately in real time, are able to say, I didn't like this answer, or this answer was incomplete. And what was also interesting, which was a very unintended consequence, Hugh, which I thought was fascinating, is that there was a lot of content out there that people were asking about that we actually didn't have available to them. So what the added benefit of this is now we're getting those questions. If they're not responded to, and the system will come back and say, I don't know, because I don't know is a perfectly good answer if it doesn't know something. But then my team is able to take that away, go back to the individual that has that expertise and put that into the system so that we can do a better job next time. And I think that's the key, is that this is an evolution. We're constantly trying to get better and better every day to be as responsive as we can.